Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Sparkle Fresh, and we are back with another playing lesson on Powerstar Golf for the Xbox One, and I'm not going to be playing today at all. So, even though it's a playing lesson, today we're going to be focusing on your boosters and your Caddy perks. So first, let's get into your Caddy perks. Now, unfortunately, these are a little bit harder to attain. Not quite as easy. You can buy the boosters. I mean, you can buy $1,000 booster packs, which can actually be extremely helpful. You know, if you have a couple extra $1,000 laying around, buy some of those booster packs and you can get some really awesome boosters to help you out on your rounds, but we'll get into that in a second. So I know I don't have that many Caddy perks. I've just had a hard time getting them. They haven't come around a lot. I haven't seen too many of them, but the ones that I do have to choose from are right here. The Bunker Live Booster is something that I would rarely ever use. I personally don't plan on hitting it into the bunker a lot, and I don't find bunker shots to be too difficult. If you do, however, find yourself on a course with a lot of bunkers that you end up hitting it into, it might be a good thing to add this in. But I would definitely use this only on if you're trying to achieve certain objectives and you somehow keep hitting into bunkers. The Lucky Drop perk, a 75% chance. What this means is that when you are putting, if you hit a putt that is relatively close to the hole, and it can't be going too fast, it kind of almost has to be stopped. But if it is within a couple inches of the hole, there is a chance that by some miracle, the ball will just find its way into the bottom of the cup. That can be really helpful if you're decent at putting. Just use it. I tend to find myself using this one a lot. It doesn't save me a lot of strokes, but it does help. And one stroke on the putting green is just as much as a 350-yard drive. So if you can help that get you a couple eagles or birdies along the way, then it's a really good one to have. Now we move on to the Rough Lie Boost. What this means is it's going to make hitting your shots out of the rough a little bit easier. It will give you a better chance of hitting a club to its maximum potential. Not a lot, but if you find yourself in the rough a lot, there are some courses that, the greens kind of slope off to the side. Not greens, sorry, the fairways slope off to the side. So it can be helpful if you find yourself, in the rough, semi-rough, heavier rough, but the 20% boost isn't a ton. For me, this one would be debatable with the Lucky Drop. Not quite sure which one I would pick. It would just have to be dependent on the course. The Shot Bar Speed perk right here can be really helpful. Now, when you first get some of these perks that change, parts of the game that you're so used to, because the 3-clicking system, there is a rhythm to it. So if you're afraid of that, just remember that, with time, it will become easier, and the fact that that bar is going slower, it does make it a lot easier. So if you have one of those perks, I would recommend putting that one on and just getting used to it, because it will help you out in the long run. The Water Skip perk right here, this might help you. I think there might be an achievement. I can't remember what it's called, but you might have to skip the ball across some water here and there. I might be thinking of Hot Shots Golf. I don't remember. But that's about the only scenario I would put that perk on. Otherwise, I feel like it would just be a waste unless you only have 3 and that happens to be one of them. Then go ahead and put it on. Now, another one that I really like a lot is the Wind Effect. What this does is, if the wind is blowing 10 miles an hour, one direction, it will basically move that down to about 8 miles an hour. It's not going to show you 8 miles an hour, but in your head, it's just something that you will get used to. You'll get used to hitting it certain distance to the right or to the left, or short or long, depending on the wind. And I highly recommend this because the wind can have a drastic effect. If the wind is blowing in your face, then having that 20% will help you to get that extra yardage, which can be extremely useful. And also, if the ball is moving more in the air from left to right or right to left, then when it hits the green, it will be moving in that direction more, so it will make it more difficult to stop in the area that you want to, a lot harder to hit that target zone. So the wind effect one is something I would highly recommend. I wish I could give you more as far as perks are concerned. I just don't have any more. They've been really hard for me to get. Maybe I've just got unlucky. So be it, but hopefully that helps. And the ones that I haven't seen yet, just, try to think about it. Try to think how that will help you, if it will help you more than another perk will, or if it will only help you in certain scenarios, on certain courses, whatever it may be, just take that into consideration. So now, let's go to our boosters. I've bought a lot of booster packs. I think boosters are incredible. I mean, just right here, all the green are basically your basic. The gold are going to be your elite. And they go up in increments. So as far as accuracy boost, this one is super helpful. If you're having a hard time on a certain course, or you're having an off day and you're not hitting the strike zone, which is that green little indicator, which would enable you to hit a perfect shot, this can be a lifesaver, because what this is going to do is this is going to make your misses go more on target. The farther that you are off from the strike zone, the farther the ball will veer, either right or left. So having your accuracy up a lot higher can help you a ton. Highly recommend this one. You get those little booster packs, you can just blow through them. The Caddy use, or the Caddy skill +1, I think as you get higher, I've got some more of these. No, I used them. What this does is your caddy has a skill. Each caddy has a skill. Astrid's is a putt prediction, which I think is about as helpful as that you can possibly get. Because the other guy, let's just call him Skrillex, because I don't know his actual name, but his is more of a shot prediction. So when you hit it, he'll tell you like where you're going to hit it, how the ball's going to land, and all that. But the problem is, you might not hit that shot perfectly. You might not hit it, where that predictor is going to go, and it's going to be a total waste. So when you're hitting a putt, you basically just hit that once, and then you hit it twice, and you're good. You're going to hit a solid putt every time, right where you're lined up. So the caddy skill one can be extremely useful, especially if you're trying to beat some records, make some long putts, make some eagles. I know I've used it a couple times, like 3 times on one hole, just so I would sink the super long putt. But I mean, that's all I needed to use it for the round, so it's great. Credit boosters are awesome. Look at this right here, a 50%. I highly recommend saving the credit boosts for the full length tournaments, 18 holes, things of that nature, because you're gonna get more money in the end, and more money is awesome. Money is harder to come by in this game once you kind of finish more of the challenges. You don't necessarily get the same amount of money for replaying them. So having these credit boosts can be a huge help. And these booster packs only cost 1,000 credits, dollars, whatever. They only cost 1,000 a piece. You get 3 of them, so basically with this 50%, if we played an 18-hole one, we would be making some fat cash. So credit boosts, awesome. Golfer ability, same as the caddy ability, extra use. The girl that I use, Reiko, hers is the Tesla field. Having an extra one of those, not just to use on the par 3s, that can come in a lot of handy. Love that one a lot. Hook slice effect. To be honest with you guys, I've never used these ever because I have no clue what that means. Usually, when you hit a hook shot or a slice on this game, you have to move your D-pad either to the left or to the right, and a little marker on the golf ball will go that direction, indicating you are going to hit a fade or you're going to hit a hook. I don't know if that's what it's talking about, but you can control that yourself. So I don't see why that percentage would matter. If it does mean, being more accurate, like if you were to hit a bad shot, then that would kind of make this accuracy booster useless, because it would essentially do the same thing. So I don't know. I can't be too much help for you on that one. Sorry about that. Power boost. Power boost is always good. Everybody likes to hit it farther. Save this one, though, for the longer tee courses, par 5s. Don't use this for any par 3 challenges. Obviously, that wouldn't be the smartest choice. So I would either save this one for the par 5 challenges or longer teed courses, especially burning sands. Once you get into that area, that would be extremely helpful. Power boost, putting boost. We've talked about this before, but what that's going to help you do is have a better chance of making a putt. It's not necessarily going to hit your putt more accurately or more at the hole. There's not going to be a magnet going towards the hole that's going to make your ball magically go there. But if you do hit a putt, it's less likely to lip out. There's more of a chance of it going in, and that is always a good thing. 5% isn't huge, but maybe you need it. Spin boost. I don't necessarily think this one is a super important one. However, it can help you if you want to hit possibly a longer drive on a hole. Getting that top spin, letting the ball roll a lot. Or if you're playing a course that doesn't have a ton of wind, having a lot of wind, I don't think the speed one would help too much. It might, but I think this one would be better for the easier courses. You want to hit those shots super close. You want to have as much control as humanly possible over the golf ball. That would be the way to go. Strike boost, that is going to, as you can see in that picture, that's exaggerated, but the green indicator in the center, which would give you a perfect strike, increases. Always super helpful. And XP boost speaks for itself. Experience points is going to get you to a higher level. Now that I think about it, I don't even know what getting you to a higher level does. I haven't looked it up. I haven't paid attention. But that's about it for the stuff that I have. Actually, you know what? What I am going to do for you guys right now, I'm going to equip wind effect, shot bar speed, and lucky drop. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to share my caddy.
Sharing your caddy with a friend can benefit you both.
Let's skip that. I don't need to worry about that. So now my caddy is shared. If you guys want to add me, if you guys want to check out my caddy, use her, abuse her, do whatever you want with her. That sounded horrible. But you get the gist of it. Just take advantage, add me as a friend, and use her as much as you want. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to be having some more coming up, and going to be doing some other games. I think I'm actually going to get into some PlayStation 4. I've had it the whole time, but it's a little bit more difficult to record. You have to have some specialty equipment to do it, but I picked one of those up. It wasn't too expensive, so it's going to be some of that stuff going on, and I think maybe once we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a little giveaway. Nothing huge, but I have some digital copies of movies, so we can have multiple winners. Something a little fun, nothing too crazy, but hope you guys had a good one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.